Good evening. Welcome to the November 15th, 2023 meeting of the Gaithersburg Planning Commission. Tonight we have a relatively short agenda, but I do want to let everybody know who might be watching online or maybe later on the taped live feed. We had our planning awards tonight. I would like to say annual, but it's actually more like every 5 years at this point. And we recognized 3 projects for excellence in residential development, the Copley condominiums and their project team. For excellence in rehabilitation or renovation development, the Market Square Shopping Center in the Kentlands, and their project team, and in excellence for sustainable design, Discovery Park. So those were well-deserved projects, and it was great to have those teams back with us to not necessarily be going through the approval process, but just being congratulated and thanked for really, really well-done projects. All right, we don't have any minutes tonight. We do have a signed permit application, and before we get to that, I'm going to step away from the dais as it happens my day job and my work in serving the city now cross paths in a way that would be better if I didn't preside over this one. So I'm going to step aside. Danny Winborn will assume the role as chair. So let me get up and do that.
Thank you.
He does want the chair.
Oh, he wants the gavel. It's the gavel time.
Don't come back. Okay, so we have a sign permit, and it is sign 29904-2023, monument sign waiver for TownePlace Suites located at 212A Perry Parkway in the C2 General Commercial Zone, and it's a minor waiver. And with us is Sam Copeland, planner.
Yep.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So staff is before you tonight to present sign permit application sign-29904-2023 for TownePlace Suites, which, as mentioned, is a hotel located at 212A Perry Parkway in the C2 zone. This application comes before the Planning Commission this evening in accordance with Section 24-213B, which requires the Planning Commission to review and, if possible, grant a minor waiver for the proposed sign. The sign permit application requires a minor waiver from the Planning Commission in order for the tenant to have letter height less than 7 inches tall on a monument sign. Section 24-210B 12(6) of the Development Code states that individual letter height on a monument sign must not be less than 7 inches tall, unless approved as a minor waiver granted by the Planning Commission. The image on the screen highlights the hotel. You can see it here. You've got 270 behind it, Perry Parkway fronting it, and the monument sign would be fronting Perry Parkway. Here to present the application is Gary Brent from MG Permits.
Welcome, Mr. Brent.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. We were requesting a minor waiver for the replacement monument sign to have lettering smaller than 7 inches as required, and I'll go through this presentation as quickly as I can. This is just a rendering of the hotel. As Sam mentioned, that's the aerial view. This is a drive from street view of the monument sign. Again, this is an existing monument sign. You see in the bottom left corner, it's probably the best view of it at the intersection. We're replacing that, and that's the existing monument sign. We're replacing the sign in kind, same size, same location, same structure, no change in the footing or the support system for the proposed sign. This is the proposed sign. Again, the highlights for the reason we're here before the commission is that the sign is going to remain the same size, and there really are three conditions that cause us to ask for this request or for the waiver requirements. One, the sign being the same size, we can't increase the sign. Our engineer has made it clear that the structure would not be recommended to change the height, the width, or the wind load capacity from the existing structure. So we're trying to maintain the sign in the same size as what's existing. Again, that's the existing sign. This is an example that the hotel put together of another sign in the area in the city that does have lettering smaller than 7 inches. I don't know why that matters, but and this is just in general the construction of the sign to show that. But again, so the 3 conditions that we're hoping the commission can weigh in on or decide for us is, again, the sign size not to change the sign to affect the structure integrity of the sign. Number two, we do have a public utility easement approval, and so that would be chaos to try to adjust that with the utility companies. They've already approved. We have on file. We do have letters of approval from the utility companies, and then number three, we're limited by setback regulations within the city. We would again want to keep the sign, plan to keep the sign in the same location.
Okay. All right, do we, is there anything you wanna, Sam, is there anything else that you wanna add?
Nope. Based on the review, this meets every other code requirement except for the letter height. Staff supports it based on the statement that it's the foundation would have to be enlarged for them to make it work for the letter height to be taller. So staff
Okay.
supports it.
Okay.
Can I ask, with what you have on the screen now, the issue of the by Marriott words, are those being removed to address letter height issues or another issue?
They are. We actually that was the initial design, the one to the left with the by Marriott, and with trying to increase the letter height to the maximum we can. Again, we have a copyright sort of relationship with these letters in the sign layout. So we've removed by Marriott in order to increase the letters for TownePlace Suites. So the sign in the right image is actually the sign that we're requesting approval for.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just, my question, if we're approving a waiver to have letter heights less than 7 inches, would that allow you the flexibility to bring that back? I think it's more a question for Sam as far as what we're actually approving. Are we approving specific heights, or are we approving a sort of general waiver for this sign?
So this waiver would be for what was proposed, and let's see if I can pull it up here. I'm gonna go to the staff report. Let's see here. So you can see here in the staff report on page 5, the letter height of what's proposed is 4 inches for the word suites, and then 4 5/8 inch for TownePlace. So the waiver tonight would be to approve as shown in the record.
Okay.
Yeah, with it not being part of the record tonight as well, I'm not really sure what the size of those letter heights are for the by Marriott portion that was shown.
When I was reviewing it earlier, it was pretty small. Maybe you can speak to that height by Marriott.
They were around 2 inches tall. And again, the hotel's fine with. They've made the concession to remove those letters, so I don't think the commission needs to consider that.
Okay.
Okay. So, is there anyone, no?
There's
Okay.
no one online.
And anyone in the audience? No? Okay, so, any discussion?
Mr. Chair, just for the record, we'll make it clear that you were asking
Oh,
whether
yes.
there was any public comment,
Public
and
comment, yes.
I believe it was verified. There's nothing online, and or there is none in the
Yes,
audience.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thanks, Frank. No, I'll just say that it's pretty clear that it's warranted. A smaller letter is fine. This is an extended stay, not a ongoing in-out retail establishment. It's not selling multiple items. It's pretty clear use.
Mhm.
The sign's frankly almost redundant, so it's great. I'd prefer to have this scale of text rather than something large and bold, so I think this works well.
Right. Louis?
Mm-hmm. Is there
In
any
this instance.
specification as to the height of the shrubs around the sign? In other words, do you keep it at a certain level, or can it grow, let's say, to under where it says suites? Or is it just random?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to the landscaping plan. My guess would be they're going to maintain it similar to what's there, shown there now, but I really don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay. I don't have a problem with this. I think it's, as I said, some minor waiver, and I don't think that it's going to be incongruous to the neighborhood or anything like that. I don't see any issue.
No concerns from me.
Okay.
It's for motion.
All righty. All right. Sam, do you want to wrap up?
Sure. So staff recommends that the Planning Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, applicant's testimony, and the staff report, findings, and recommendation, grant a minor waiver for sign 29904-2023, allowing letter heights less than 7 inches tall, finding it in compliance with section 24213B of the City Code.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, based on the exhibit submitted, applicant's testimony, and the staff report findings and recommendations, move that the Planning Commission grant a minor waiver for sign number 29904-2023, allowing letter heights less than 7 inches tall, finding it in compliance with section 24-2213B of the City Code.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Okay? Okay. All right. I've been asked to just continue, so, this is time from the commission. Anything from the commission?
Nope.
Well, I just want to report, even though I couldn't attend, that the 40th Annual Maryland Planning Commissioners Association that was held in Kent Island was extremely successful, and Frank was there.
Sure.
Thank you very much for your help. And we actually had the largest turnout we've had before. Yes, it was very, very successful.
Good.
So we're looking forward to next year, and we're also going to be collaborating with APA Maryland
Huh.
next year. So
That's great.
And we have preliminary dates. Don't want to talk about it yet, but hold your calendars, gentlemen. Hopefully you can join us.
Sure.
So, all right, from staff.
Nothing for me tonight, just to remind you that your next and last meeting of the year is December 6th.
Thank you.
Is that going to be held in this hall or in
Yeah. I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
involved with some of those meetings, and I would say yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Johnson, do you have anything for us?
I would just say that the open meetings training that April Ishak, who's the
Yes.
former chair,
Yes.
and I gave, we found that it was one of the most interactive
Okay.
trainings that we have given, where there was genuine interest and a lot of dialogue. Well, what about this and what about
Mhm.
that, in terms of some of the nuances and elements. So it was the benefit of training that folks sometimes don't understand is you sometimes learn even more than what you're teaching.
Yes.
You do gain from that, and certainly from that kind of interaction. You know, it's a little different when you're doing, Zoom is very convenient, but face-to-face is still much more enriching in a lot of ways, and that's certainly demonstrated. So, you know, and this is one we do every year, and I do see the
Yeah.
value of it because there are different faces there. There are, you know, this is statewide. There are a number of
Yeah, it
new
is.
planning commissioners there, so
Mhm.
we're
But
very
let me-
happy to do that.
Let me ask you a question, and I don't want to belabor this, but is there a rule, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there a rule about renewing that open meetings training, and because of what you just
Actually,
mentioned?
there is not.
Yeah.
That's actually a question that we get quite a bit. I think the more times that's asked,
Mhm.
the General Assembly will probably notice, and somebody will suggest
Just stop
requiring
Stop
renewal.
asking.
But right now, it's simply, you know, again, it's only required for a designated board member.
Right,
And we always advise, have everybody be designated, have everybody take it. That way you never run afoul if you do need to go into a closed session.
sure.
But it also makes sense for people to be aware of the ins and outs
Exactly.
of the way the law works.
And I've had the occasion, you know, at the conferences, not this year, of course, but in the past, to sit in, and I always learn something. So I think there may be value to kind of, I'm not saying every year, but maybe every 3 or 4 years that you get, you know, recertified or something like that.
Well,
So
the trainings are it's not
Yeah.
always the same because
Right.
things change.
things
You know, at one
absolutely
point,
change.
email communication was not considered subject to the act. It is now.
Right,
And there are sometimes nuances from the board. There haven't been recent court decisions that are significant. There have been some at the circuit court level, but nothing dramatic. But there, you know, it is helpful to get an update on the current board decisions, just to be aware of where they headed and what are they working on.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, so I think that is it, so we are adjourned.